Video log, Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Michael Cook speaking. I'm making this video to cover Q3A-Live Map Development Kit Plus, part number 2. In the previous instance, I was playing some music and just kind of working on this utility that I'm going to load right now. Yeah. And I think that I'm just going to talk about it as I'm working on it. I would like to kind of do this a little bit more often because, sometimes I'm playing the music just because it helps me stay focused on certain aspects of what I'm building or working on. But I think I'm going to give this a shot here. So in the last particular video, I made a bunch of changes to the user interface. So here's what it looks like now. And then here, let's go ahead and load up the previous iteration. Okay. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I got some stuff that I need to edit, but I'm not gonna do that now. So anyway, yeah, the difference between what I just had up and what's being seen now is something I want to work on. Could theoretically load both of them up at the same time if I do this. But I think this is gonna take a while to paste all of that. Alright, but it is kind of cool to see a side-by-side comparison of one user interface to the other. It's not like it's super different, but at some point this is going to just kind of start speeding up. You can sort of see some differences here. I added this tab here. Some of this information probably doesn't need to be here. You don't really need to see the path that's there. At some point I might change that. I spend a fair amount of time writing XAML. I haven't really modified this all that much in the last couple weeks, but yeah, I like to use the row definitions and then the column definitions, and then using a numerical index to sort of once I have a table set up. A grid is sort of like an advanced table, and I can set up this particular thing here, this grid. Or this one, right? It's this one right here. It's got the resource label, right? And then that has certain styling that's up in the top, and then it's got this text box, which also all of the items and controls have some sort of styling that's defined further up. And it looks like that's still going. Or I could dot source it to get that to load faster, but I know that it's just about done loading. I don't know why it takes as long as it does in that. But as you can see in this, it kind of happens instantly. And yeah, so yeah, I come up with the pixels or for the width. So that's 80 pixels across. It's a star is going to be collapsible. It's going to take up whatever is subtracted by these numbers. It'll figure that out last, and like any other star, it's going to divide it evenly. So if I added another one, if I added another one right there, it's going to divide that in half. But obviously, I don't want to do that. And then this is where a little icon goes to test the path. Whatever's there. This is just about done. Yeah, it'd be nice to have it side by side to show differences and stuff and things that I haven't gotten around to updating quite yet. So a couple months ago, I came up with some ideas in the editor, this texture scaling thing, which I kind of talked about in constructive strategies. I think that was about a month ago. Right, and then I came up with this compile map assets to build the map pack that I featured in that video, or I think it was that video. And then yeah, every once in a while look at something cool like the Quake 3 arena. It's code that helps some find the quick square root of whatever number, and then it uses like a bit hack to be able to do that. And I was like trying to think, hey, maybe I could, interpret that into PowerShell. So I started messing around with it, but yeah, I came up with some additional ideas. I don't know why the hell. Well, it looks like it didn't want to go through. Alright, so whatever. That was a waste of time. So yeah, this is the previous iteration of that, and I gotta I have to implement a way to update what I've already done in this particular script. Alright, so and now I'm gonna do is just load it again. Alright, the newer version. It won't be side by side because I don't know. But yeah, as you can see here, all of this stuff is in the registry. Right, but some of the stuff I've already entered in. And right, if I select install date or any of these first several items, I can't change anything. And the reason for that is because that's all going to be populated when the thing is run. Whereas all these are going to be set to not set by default. And what I need to do is sort of make a class that only considers these properties and it tests them. And then I'm probably going to make another a column. And then, I don't know, this is sort of the stuff that I have to mull over sometimes. Because you see how I've got this here, and then I've also got this here, and then this has all the properties for the dependencies, but it doesn't have a directory or a file path. It's because it hasn't been set yet. Alright, but see how it says not set? Well, I want everything that's saved in the registry to be populated there. So, in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out. Alright, and I'm going to kind of go through the process of creating classes that kind of extend properties that are already there. So, control registry. Alright, and that's a flat object right there, but if I go to registry settings, why is this working? You see that whole array of items there. It's basically the same information that's there, but this allows me to put it into a data grid without having to screw around with individual settings and stuff. And then here's what I want to do. I want to make it so that all of these are checked. Alright, so later on down in this script here, there's a section where it's going to prime all of this stuff. Where the hell is it? Alright, so this is it. This is this section here. Alright, and then I have to come up with some logic right here in the main aspect. Right, this is the main method. In C#, if you do this, it's going to be the very first thing that gets executed. But in PowerShell, you can name it main and then reference it. Alright, but in PowerShell, if you create a class, you have to name it the same name as the class. So I'll show that in a second here. Where else? Okay. So the name of the class is Q3A-Live Controller, which is kind of similar to Q3A-Live Master. I use a bunch of different terms to kind of do the same thing, but you can see that this doesn't have a parameter, but this one does. So I could load the module, get FE module, mode 1. And that'll do it silently. Right, and then I could feed the control equal Q3A-Live controller new. Right, and then that will automatically populate that. Right, and then I want to say control.main and that's going to populate certain information like resource, registry, and then component. That's the two components, Q3A and Live, Q3 Quake Live, and then what was it, dependency? That output. So yeah, I want to get rid of that little underscore there. I think that's stupid looking, but whatever. Yeah. So what I need to do is add some more logic that kind of ties together the registry thing and the component thing, but it has to be like a part of the main method, because anytime that the interface needs to be refreshed or repopulated or whatever, it's got to do that every time. So I have to be considerate that the logic is going to run through various things. And one of the things that I need to accomplish is separating. I have to find a way to get the dependency master, or at least the dependency items, to populate the directory and the file path they exist in the registry. So that's what I'm going to do with this. So this item here, return, I'm using my laptop keyboard, which I don't typically use. What was it? Registry. Alright, and then what I want to do is create another class. Alright, Q3A-Live registry check list. Right, and then what I want to do is create this object here, object, and then basically copy and paste the constructor, and then do this. And get rid of these. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to leave that alone. Clear. It's going to set this output to empty, and then what I'm going to do is kind of do this, right? And then list equals Q3A-Live registry check list new. And it's going to create a new object. And there's going to be nothing in it except the output property, right? And then what I want to do is for each of these properties here, for this, say object registry. You know, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna have to rely on something within the class factory to be able to populate this stuff. But here's what I'm gonna do. Turn it into an array rather than a hash table. So what this will do is create this list of information. Oh, you know what? It's got to have the name and stuff. Oh, man. Let me go back to that, actually. For each item in check dot rate. Here, I'm gonna do something a little fancy. You know, that's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it that way. Sometimes when I'm like programming stuff, like on a live basis, I come up with a couple of different ideas, and then like I'm kind of trying to figure out what the best way to go about it is. So I think what I'm gonna do is say for each item in these properties here. Split it with that. List dot what do I do? I have to add this. So string is going to be the name, and then string is going to be the value, right? So this output add to the array, this Q3A-Live registry check item, this output.count. It'll automatically populate that parameter with the amount of items that are in that array, and then name, and then value. Right, and then yeah, let me recreate that instance there. Right, and then list.add item control dot item. Oh wait, huh? Oh, that's why. So what I want to do is set a flag for error action, and it's going to be 0, which should be like silently continue or whatever. So we'll do that again. Right, all this code here is going to reproduce what I want. What the heck? Dude. Oh, check, that's right. So yeah, now it's going to show all that stuff that was in the list, right? And it says, oh, it exists, right? And everything that I just did was kind of like meant to supplement like the stuff that's going to be in the GUI, right? And now you got to find a way to like add this to the thing, right? I have to add this object to the main class. So when I write these classes, I put a bunch of methods in the same sort of area. It's registry root, registry install, and I'll say object, registry checklist. and then I have to make a function that, or a method that will populate that stuff. Right, so what I want to do is registry validate. And then basically put all that stuff that I just wrote in there. Where the heck is it? There it is. All right. And I'm gonna wind up like changing the way that that code looks, right? But I'm gonna keep all this stuff here, and then scroll down to the area. As you can see, like there's thousands of lines that I've written, and a lot of them are just like line breaks and stuff. But you know, that's like to help me keep things separated, and then to compartmentalize like certain areas of the script process. And you know, it's not like super intuitive. It takes a while to figure out how to pull it off, and you know, I don't often spend a while like looking around like I'm doing right now. Where the hell is this method that I just started writing? Registry what was it? I mean, oh, validate. There it is. So is that further down? Yeah, it was. It was at the bottom. All right, so now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say list equal this dot Q3A-Live checklist, right? And then it's gonna be it's gonna be like that. And you know, this isn't the most eloquent way to do this, but I don't know, it is kind of, it does work. You know, hang on a second, I'm gonna pause for a minute. Okay, so just went ahead and took a little break. Captain Breakmeister 5000 over here. Alright, so what I'm showing right now is basically the process of taking like the script that I wrote and then kind of like integrating it into the class. Right, so I want to find a more eloquent way to do this. Right, I was thinking about it over the last few minutes. That right there I could turn into an enum, which I already have an enum that does that, but it shows other properties. So what I want to do is kind of like filter. You know, I could leave it the way that it is, but I don't like the way that it looks. So what I want to do is, man, I hate having to scroll back and forth through all this, but I think the end result is what matters here. So in order to show people how to do stuff the correct way, say enum Q3A-Live registry check type, right? And then add all these. This is going to work for Radiant. This is going to work for 7-zip, which is that. And then it'll work for Image Magic. It'll work for the Q3A shader editor. It'll work for Steam.cmd. It'll work for the workspace path, where basically this utility will put all of the maps that you're working on. You know, like it'll have the maps in 3 places. It'll have it like in either the Q3A base Q3 / maps directory, or it'll be in the Live base Q3 / maps directory if you want to do that, which at some point I will add functionality for that. But then also there's the workspace path, where it's going to put all of those, like if I say the map of wisdom, right? The map of wisdom is going to have assets under this folder, right? It'll have textures, scripts, sounds, something else. or the map, right? It'll have all those, and then it'd be like wisdom dot BSP and map. Can't remember if it's map or maps. Wisdom.aas, which is the bot file. Binary space partition, I think that's what BSP stands for. And it's basically a compiled version of the map file. Right, and then it's going to have wisdom, and then it's going to have that entire structure, tree structure there. So anyway, yeah, I could probably get away with using this and then just kind of like filtering it out. You know, why don't I do that? Control.registry.settings.property index is greater than 5. Yeah, but you know what? It's going to have a different index. I am kind of getting into like the redundancy of all this stuff, but at the same time, I think system.enum get names Q3A-Live registry check type. I can do it that way, or I can do it this way. Using the right bracket. So yeah, you can use the thing in quotes, or you can use it in square brackets if the type exists. Right, that type exists. So now what I want to do is say that, and then go back down to where I was. And then we'll say string, oh crap, return that registry check types. So anyway, what this does is it just kind of makes it cleaner looking, and then I can, you know, wind up using that at some point, right? So we'll say control equals this. Some people probably don't know why I do this so much right here, but this object, right, when you're inside of the class, if you use this, it will refer to the entire class. Whereas if I'm writing scripts outside of the class, then I can continue to write the script on the very bottom of the script. Right, I can continue to write it like right here, and then I can copy and paste it and then bring it into one of these scopes. So that is the reason why I do that. Problem is that I have to do that quite a lot and make that reference like in pretty much each method. It does make my life a little bit easier, but once I have everything complete, then I would wind up like getting rid of all that and then changing all these little variables to this, and then, you know, then I don't have to worry about it. But if I ever have to work on it again, then I'll have to re-implement that and then change all of those back. So oftentimes I just wind up leaving it the way that it is. Yeah. But anyway, let's see here. I can get rid of this. I don't need that. Right, and then it's going to create that list, but it's not going to do anything with it if I don't assign a property to the class. So what I want to do is control.registry. Validation. Maybe I should make a property name validation. That is what I'm going to do, actually. Now, it is totally possible for me to integrate like this validation stuff into what's already there, but then I have to like kind of find a way to do that. You know, and the name of the game with all this is kind of slow and steady, and then kind of putting some thought to like whatever I'm working on, and then fully developing it. Right. So like I made a map pack with 13 maps in it for Quake Live. Right, like I didn't make all those maps all at once. Like I focused on an individual map and then continued to work on it and update it and then make a video and play test it, and then it's really what the name of the game is with all this. And what I could also do is like ask ChatGPT or something to do all the hard work for me, and then not stress over it. But I don't like that idea. So yeah. Let's go down to where I was working on this stuff, this new method here, and I can get rid of that. You know what? Registry validate. I really need to have that. I could just do this. I get rid of that validation thing. I'm not going to do that actually. So now I need to add some logic right here to kind of interact with the thing. Right, but if I go into validation control dot validation dot output, oh cool. Now that I have that, I can kind of like add that to the GUI somehow. And yeah, if I could add it to the GUI. I don't think I'm gonna add. See, like, so right here it's got the name and the value. I could also add exists, and then well, I don't even really need to have exists. I could just have like a little icon for certain items, right? So what one thing that I wind up often doing is thinking like, all right, maybe I should section off all of these things here rather than to have like some method that restricts me the ability to change all this stuff down there, right? Because like that's not updating at all. I should probably add some logic that just clears that. What the heck? Yeah, that's another thing. If I haven't worked on something in a while, hold on a second. I know that it's right here somewhere. Here's another thing. When I'm programming stuff, sometimes this can take a while for me to sort of figure things out, and then wind up getting to a point where I want to show it off, and then I make a recording. But like working on it while making a video and then like explaining what I'm doing, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So anyway, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just revalidate control validation dot output. All right, I'm not gonna modify the GUI quite yet, but what I want to do is go through the logic here. If control dot validation dot output 0, which is radiant dot exists. Ooh, actually, you know what? I could do a for loop. For each item in control.validation.output, right? And then I make a switch item.name, right? And then I come up with radiant archive image shader Steam workspace credential custom. And then what I can do is to kind of accelerate stuff, do that, and then I can come up with rules, which is basically what I was going to do with all this. If item dot exists control dot dependency Alright, so control that dependency is 0. Dot directory equals item dot value or item dot full name, and then find the executable. GCI C drive /game/DTK radiant.exe. Look for that, right? Oop, misspelled that. Oh, dot output 0. My bad. Alright, so now I can do this. And then, oops, what the hell? Aha. Okay, so here's what we can do. Run through this, and that will probably do this. There we go. Perfect. Well, I want the full name here. Alright, so then I got the logic that'll point to that, and then it will kind of reconstitute what's going on in the other blocks. Alright, and then, rather than to do this, rather than to like put the same logic in each one of these things, what I could do is cast this to a variable that says select equal that, and then put this logic at the end. But I would have to, I don't know, I think that I might have to do this for each iteration or object or whatever. What the hell? What was the aha. So this is what I need to work on next. How long is this video? 43 minutes, 26 seconds. All right. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep going here. Why the hell not? So what I want to do is create like a method that looks for various programs in the registry, right? This is going to look for these. Now I can change all these to this actually. All right. It's actually a pain in the ass having to do this and like explain what I'm doing at the same time. But you know what? I kind of want to do it because I think it'd be pretty important for me to show that I can do that. Problem is just so much stuff that I have to like parse through or like figure out. So, all right. Let's go to the main method here. Control registry refresh. Control equals I don't really need to load the Zame1 to memory quite yet. The registry refresh, the component refresh. Just gonna check for this. So I don't really need to keep those in there. I can take them out. But the thing is, I'm going to wind up doing some of that. What? Oh. I'm going to wind up putting the logic in the section that I was just in. Basically do this again, or sort of again. Dependency refresh. So it's going to look through all the stuff in the registry that's in the registry path, but I want to say the filter, cast this to a variable list equal that. All right, and then list where name match 7-zip. Or display name. Aha, there it is. All right, and then I can use this information to populate the user interface. I'm gonna pause for a minute again. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, 7-zip, and then image magic. Display name, image magic. Huh? Why not? Dude, this laptop keyboard is killing me. Okay, why is it doing that? Oh, that's why. It's because I'm adding the end of the thing. So the dollar sign at the end of a regex string will indicate that that's like the end of the match or whatever. All right, so here we go. If maybe just showing off like how I would go about this is good enough of an explanation. I do kind of want to like get more involved with it, but and get rid of that. See how I put the logic there and I don't have to have it in each switch block? So this is sort of the stuff that I mull over when I'm like working on all this stuff, right? So Radiant, Archive, Image, Magic. It's gonna look through. If it doesn't find it in the registry, then it's gonna look for the uninstall. Oh. There we go. Okay. Else, we'll put some other logic for each one. You know, GTK radiant isn't going to save anything to the registry. It's just going to be wherever you put it. So I'm not really sure what the hell I'm going to put here. Just going to put this in each block just for consistency's sake, right? What is this? 7z.exe. Pretty sure it is. So right now what I'm doing is kind of like a rough draft. Like at some point I'm going to wind up like taking that out. I'm going to wind up rewriting some of this. But for the time being, I'm just going to kind of copy and paste a bunch of stuff. Image is not set, so it doesn't exist. Match image magic. Oh, here, let's run through this now. Okay, so now it is populating those two items there. It's also populating GTK radiant. Alright, and then Q3A-SE, sort of like gonna do this. So, yeah, these entries are going to be different. Workspace, credential, and custom. Hold on a second. Yeah, these are gonna be different. Yeah, it's another thing. Like that's gonna be a directory. This is probably gonna be a file, and that's gonna be something that's not entirely described. Right, but if I go to here, oh, there it is. It's populating stuff that's, you know, in the either the registry or the dependency stuff. Right, so like this is the sort of stuff that I spend quite a lot of time thinking about ahead of time, right? Let me get rid of that little black bar there, actually. Components, this, let's see. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and replace this. If it wants to open up, which it doesn't, there we go. I don't know why it's doing that now, but that's kind of annoying. Let's try it now. Yeah, no, I can't, because then that bar shows up. Let's say, yeah, I'm going to leave it back at 120. What the hell? It's kind of odd. That's odd. I know, I didn't close this. All right, so we're getting there. Thing is it found the path for that, but it hasn't set it in here, right? So like if I do set that here, let's say I want to make an, I want to have an option that does that, right? All right, that saved it to the thing. I want to say C drive /game /Q3A-SE. Apply. I want to say C drive /game /Steam. Apply. Workspace is there. Right, and then you don't want to have all these options like enabled or they're there. Then it should, you know, enable like that tab and that tab, but I don't want this tab to be like accessible unless there's an assignment available. Yeah, this is sort of the stuff that I spend quite a lot of time mulling over, right? So let's say I close this, right? And then I rerun the utility, and then here, let's put all this information right here so I can populate it again. What I'm going to do is similar to what I did in the previous video, remove item control.registry, and that just got rid of like the registry settings. So I'm going to run it again. It's not going to have anything selected or showing up. All right, so I'll manually add all this stuff. In the components, you'll see 7-zip is showing up and image magic is showing up. There's really what the heck, I didn't want it to be out of order like that. It's not like it matters, but apply, go to archive, apply, go to image, apply, Q3A-SC, apply, go to Steam, apply, workspace, apply. Right, and as you can see, the install date is basically 7/22 at 4:49:30. Is military time. Yeah. So yeah, at some point I'm gonna wind up getting all this to like automatically populate certain stuff. Yeah, I have to wind up coming up with like some sort of switch that that looks whether it's a dependency or it's like a component of the thing here. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this particular video because I still have plenty of work left to do, and I think I'm doing a decent job of showcasing some of this stuff, and you know, at some point I'll be able to show off stuff like, where is it? Package map assets, no, that's not it. Texture scaling, no, that's not it either. Oh, compile map assets, that's right. So like all the maps that I had in the list, all these maps, I want to be able to show the map asset compilation utility, so it can run through a whole list of maps to make like either a single map PK3 or a multiple map PK3, and that's sort of what I'm going to get into once I get to the assignment panel, which I haven't added here, but this map thing is going to be replaced by the assignment tab, and the assignment tab is going to have the option to switch between like a single map or multiple map pack, and then I have my work cut out for me because I have a bunch of ideas to implement there. And then anyway, yeah, I think that's going to do it. Yeah, thanks for watching.